Have you ever got stuck in freeze? Now, what even is freeze? So, our survival system is so wonderful. But when we've had trauma, any kind of trauma, particularly early trauma, it may be more used to going into states of freeze or complete shutdown or panic and activation and reactivation than really deliver for us the lives that we truly, truly want. So I'm fairly sure, although not everyone, definitely meet people this does not apply to, most of us want to go through life most of the time feeling pretty calm, pretty grounded, present in our lives, aware of what's actually happening in the moment. But as I say, there are exceptions to this. So what happens when we go into freeze? Well, I was gifted an experience of going into freeze very recently, and it reminded me of quite how horrendous it feels. And the thing with all these states, so becoming very activated and hyper alert, some people refer to that as fight or flight, or becoming frozen. So by frozen, what I mean and what I definitely experienced the other day is I was in an event on Zoom. Luckily, I was not running the event. To be honest, if I was running the event, this would definitely not have happened. Never had that experience when I use the term in charge, but it does feel safer for me to run and facilitate things, because even though sometimes I may get uncomfortable questions or people get very annoyed with me talking endlessly about compassion and kindness, particularly to children, and not making them talk about their trauma, sometimes that activates people a lot. If I get attacked in that situation, what happens is I tend to go into the higher energy, which is around this part of the body, more the defensive, protective energy. And it happens like that. Now, nowadays, because I've done huge amounts of work on my trauma, I can sense it's happening, and I can gradually, in the background, use all my resources to level myself out so that I don't really lose it and go in on what the person is laying before me in quite an aggressive way. So that's what happens when I am holding the space. But when I'm in someone else's space that they are holding for me, this is what happened. So one of the people on the call, I previously was in a situation where they verbally attacked me, shamed me. Yeah, that was pretty much what happened. Now, I did manage in the moment to defend myself and be very, very clear. But since then, I've pretty much avoided being in anything where they are. But recently, in a small group, there they were. And I could feel before I went into the call that I was a bit jittery and having logical conversations about whether actually I would even go. But no, I went. And then as soon as I got into the call, now bearing in mind, they did nothing on this call. And in fact, they were very kind. They were very different. But my background system, my autonomic nervous system, which is running in the background to detect, am I safe? Do I need to go into defend and protect mode? It doesn't care about what's happening now. Just being in the presence of that other being and feeling so uncertain, it went into a huge freeze crisis. So what did that feel like? Well, it felt like I could just about be present with what was being said, but inside myself, I could feel the urge to escape, which wasn't possible because I was choosing to stay on the Zoom call. But so it felt inside like this kind of literally like a running feeling, and it was all jittery and panicky, but as if I was trapped inside my body and there was nothing I could do. And then I could feel that I was on the edge of shutdown. So that's the next state. So what happens when you shut down is that you then aren't really aware of your surroundings so much. You just go into a very kind of dazed, foggy state, and it's very difficult to move or to speak or to do anything when you are in that shutdown state, often called dissociation. But I was slightly above that. So I was on the inside very activated, but still literally frozen to the spot. And I was finding it very hard to speak. Now, my job is to speak. I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I do lots of videos and things. So go on television, on radio, people shout at me all the time. It's fine, it's what I do. But my nervous system didn't care because it had picked up there's danger, there's potential threat from this other being, even though I'm sitting in my own lounge. So this is I'm sharing this because you may very well experience this quite often, that you get this big jittery feeling inside of you, and although you can't move, your urge is to move. So what did I do? Most importantly, well, I really concentrated on connecting with my body, because the autonomic nervous system lives in your body and it feeds and fires information up to your brain. So I was trying really, really hard to just calm it and reassure it. So words can't do that. I was having to press a lot of weight down into the lower part of my body to remind my brain there's connection here, there's safety here, do some breathing. Just literally try and reassure this survival part of my brain, particularly that was like, woo, so my body was woo, that we are okay. And I did some breathing, and inside my head as well, I was, in addition to the breathing, I was saying things to myself like, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. So because I was breathing, repeating a phrase that my body perceives those vibrations as a sign of safety really helped. So I really hope that you do not experience freeze, but it's something to be curious about. And if you do, then just focus on your body, focus on your body, focus on your body. And you might have to do that for quite a time afterwards. It took me a little while, and I have a very, very flexible, easily move around autonomic nervous system now, that I can move up and down from different states. But when I was online and it felt like potential threat, it was very hard to do. I had to really work on it when I came out of the Zoom. So I hope that's helpful for you, because these are all different states that we can flick in and out of, and they relate back to some trauma that we've had. And the more that we know about them, the more we can recognize them and then bring ourselves back to safety.